I'm going to show you how I style a Christmas tree for a photo shoot. As I've said many times, it's one of the hottest days of the year this year, so no shoes on, sunny blaring outside, which you can see reflected in the glass there of the cabinet. Now, ordinarily, if I was doing a shoot and I was shooting this scene, I would block out the window behind me, but if I do that, you're not going to be able to see me. So ordinarily, I would dampen down that window with some diffuser so that it was a little bit more moody and not about 27 degrees. Right, let's go get the tree. So this is a tree I got from Cox & Cox. It's a young pine pre-lit tree, and I'm now going to put it together, but I'll speed that up because you don't need to see that slow. Now, my goodness, it's hot. So this is a very large tree. I think it's 7 foot. I'm 5'10". I'm pretty sure it's 7 foot because I turned down the 8 foot one because it was no way going to fit into my house. Now, obviously it comes really tight and I'm going to open them all up, which I'm going to speed through. I just wanted to say that this tree comes with labels. Now, I'm not going to cut them off because they need to go. This needs to go back to Cox & Cox, and I want them to be, or the next person to be able to shoot with it and style with it as well. But I will disguise these, have these little labels. I will tuck them away. There's an A, B and a C. The other thing is this is a pre-lit tree. So I'm going to go down in a second and plug it in, but I will probably turn it off because I'd like to show you how we dress lights. So now I'm going to literally just open up every branch so it's nice and full, but only from the front. I'm going to kind of create a little kind of a 90 degrees at the back so it will slot into this little corner in my kitchen, and you'll be able to see what I'm doing. I'm in my kitchen because I'm decorating my living room and it currently looks like a furniture shop, and this tree, there is not a single space that this tree, because it's so large, would fit in. So let me splay it open. So I've splayed out all of the ones at the bottom on the front, and then once I get to about here, I go around the whole tree because the back side will show, as the tree goes narrower, the ones at the back show that they're not opened up. So we've opened all those up. I can see now, I'm looking at the screen here as if it was a camera screen, and I can see that we're leaning a little bit. Now sometimes we might just fold that top bit over and put the star on top. Sometimes you need something with a little bit of strength to hold something in position. I'm just going to straighten him out in a second. Okay, now I just want to show you, this tree has lots of settings. I think you might have seen the lights flashing on and off. It has a lovely long wire, but what it has, will it reach further than this? No, it's got a little box that you can press the button on. And then it has like a little foot button that you can turn on and off. And then you can change the settings with this here. I think there's 9 settings. Yes, 9. So you can have nice and gentle, you can have permanent. I'm going to turn it off though, and we are going to put our own lights on the tree so I can show you how I do that. So I've got my fairy lights now. I think there's about 240, maybe 300 bulbs on it. It's a warm light, and the thing I've got is a green wire to go on my green tree. I had a white tree for a long time. I've also got the pink fluffy tree that you've seen probably on social media, and if you've done the course, you'll have seen me in the course, that we have a white wire for that one. And if you can find a pink wired fairy light, please let me know. So yes, we always try and match the wire to the colour of the tree, because then the wires don't show up so much, but the lights obviously do. So I pulled out the whole reel of lights so that they're all over the floor. So as I pull them towards me to put on the tree, they don't get tangled. And what I will do is, instead of going round and round and round, which a lot of people do, which is just a nightmare, we zigzag. So I'm going to show you now zigzagging from the bottom to the top. So I plug it in at the bottom and then just go as far back as I can into the corner here, all the way around, and back again, up, up, down, up, up, up. Now what we look for, now as well as the lights, we also make sure that when we've opened up the branches, we make sure there's no holes and no gaps. So I can kind of see one here. I will just pull these over so that there's not any holes. I can see a big hole here. I think I can open up a few extra bits down this side here. So when you're looking at the tree, just make sure there's no big obvious gaps. There's also a bit here. This is looking a little bit fake. We want to make it look as real as possible because this tree is very realistic. So we want to make sure that none of our branches are bent because obviously they're made with wire. But that's what you're looking for. And as you're putting the lights on, you can see that. So let's put the lights on. So I'm really happy with how this is looking. The lights are very even. I push the wires in as much as I possibly can because I don't want to see lots of wires, especially coming out down the edges. You're going to see some lights, some wires, because that's just the nature of what it is, and that's fine. When we add the decorations, it's going to be kind of hidden, so that doesn't really matter, but I just try not to make it look too wiry. We just want the glow of the lights to come through. So now, the first thing I add now are the large decorations. So I've got a little basket here full. So I have some very large baubles. So anything that's really big that could be a bit overpowering, I'm going to put in. Now I always try and stick to the rule of threes, but I only have 4 of these. So I'm just going to arrange them and then add to them. So I'm going to start with the big baubles, and then I'll go to, still big but not giant, and then I'll go on to the decorative ones. So let's just start with those. Before I hang them, let me just show you, I have added a piece of wire to this and I will just bend it over so there's like a little hook. And then when I hang it on the tree, I can just hang it, it will just sit there. And when I dismantle the tree at the end of the day, which is normally how it is, up in the morning, down in the afternoon, I can just pull it and it will come off and I can pack it away. It's just a real time saver. So I've added the large baubles and I've added some of the decorative pieces. I've got a few others, but just for time, I'm going to now just fill the tree with small baubles. Now I want the hero ones, so these bigger ones and these decorative ones, to stand out. And then I want these, oops, these smaller ones that again, I've just wired up. I'm just going to fill the rest of the tree so that it feels really, really full, and any little kind of holes of space that don't have lights or don't have any decorations will have a bauble. Now I've used glitter. I've got a couple of shiny ones, and if the shiny ones are at the front, the photographer will reflect in the camera, or in the shot. So I'm going to push these to the back so they're disguised. So let's do that now. Another clever little trick I do is I might cut wire a bit longer and then hang 2 decorations from one piece of wire, so I can just loop that on. Try not to have them dangling like earrings, uneven them. Okay, so I've put all my baubles on. I kind of feel I could probably do with a few more. I like them to look really, really full, but that's personal preference. Now, when I step back and look, if this was the back of the camera and I was checking on the styling, the first thing I see is that this bauble down here is a little bit big and on his own. I think he needs to move. So we're going to just move him up a little. Let's see where there's a space. Where's there a dark space? It's looking quite dark in this corner down here. So I think we can probably put it, see there? We'll try and put it in there. quite often I will just push it back. Doesn't matter if it's not fully visible and it's got branches in front of it. It's just another bit of sparkle. And these lights that are in the background that go right into the tree, they will add more sparkle inside the tree, which is great. So let's have a look now. How's that looking? That's much better. Now the wreath that I made, that's getting a little bit dried now. He's getting quite confusing if this is our shot, so we're going to lose him. That's much better. And we just need to pop that star on the top. I've just got a really simple star silver. And so this is where I would bend it over, because the hole here is just gonna, it's just not gonna work. It's gonna go like that. So I would just fold over the top edges and squeeze that on. Because this is a fabulously wired tree, I can tell this where to go. Let's have a look now. How's that? Apart from being a little bit wonky, he's straightened him up a little bit. See, this light here is reflecting all those lights, all the glitter there, which is perfect. So all that's left now is to just put those wires from the tree underneath the tree out of sight. If you have a tree skirt or a basket or a pot or anything that you want to put the stand in, and obviously if this was a real tree, you'd dress it very similarly. Pop those in there. We never want to see legs. Majority of the time, if there's not a product that is a tree skirt, I will just pile up presents until you can't see any of the stand, and we will just position things, and I'll do that now and take a shot. A word about shooting real trees. We will quite often snip the back of the trees off so we can push it into the corner of a room, or if it's next to a mantelpiece, we'll push it back, and then we've got loads of great branches to use around the rest of the shoot. Maybe put them on the fire and make the whole room smell of pine. But it's a very similar setup. We would dress it in exactly the same way, the difference being we can't bend things into place. When we pull those bits that we cut off the back off, you can slot them into the tree, because natural trees tend to have bigger gaps between the branches. You can kind of fake extra branches so you have less empty kind of patches and things. But that in a nutshell is how I dress a Christmas tree. The other thing I didn't say was that I've chosen a very pastel and silver collection here. If you are going to be putting your product on the tree, you don't want anything you put on the tree to distract from the product. So keep that in mind. Keep the colours that you use quite subtle in the background so that your product, so say for example your product was gold, you might want a champagne gold set of baubles in the background that are a bit nondescript, that add to the feeling but aren't going to distract from your gold decoration or whatever the product is. Right? That is how we style Christmas trees.